When did we as a nation lose our moral compass? As early as I can remember, I was taught that the United States was the greatest country in the world. In school, we honored the flag, taught to stand with our hand on our heart and recite a prayer to our country and flag. In history classes, we learned about battles fought and won by our brave United States soldiers in defense of our freedom and those unable to defend themselves. I remember the first time I watched Schindler's List, the only movie I ever watched with subtitles, and I couldn't look away. I remember the tears streaming down my face and trying to clear them away so I could read. I remember learning about slavery and the Civil War fought on our homeland. The brave people that gave their lives because they believed in the freedom of America. As a child, I felt honor in celebrating the 4th of July. I can't begin to explain the feeling of pride as the American soldiers walked past in the celebratory parade. The entire crowd would stand in honor of the brave men and women in uniform. I remember watching the television and people worshiping the president, viewing him as the greatest person who walked the earth. It used to be an American dream to be in the presence of a United States president, no matter what political party you were affiliated with. So when did it all change? When did our television stop telling the stories of proud Americans? When did our children start looking away from the meaning of the great United States of America? When did the people put away their flags and turn their backs to the men and women still bravely fighting for us? When did the 4th of July stop being about American pride and freedom and become a bad after-party? When did we stop fighting for our greatness and bow to those in charge? When did this country stop being for the people and start being against them? When did the conversations that once created greatness change to demands and orders? I look around me, and the current view is nothing like it once was. My children will never know what is meant by the American dream or the feeling of true freedom. When did we stop fighting for our dreams and lay down in lives that we hate? I am ashamed to say my generation is the last that will ever feel true American pride. Even more, I am ashamed to admit we are also the cause of America's destruction. My generation failed past and future generations of Americans. We failed at our basic civil duty of passing on the truth behind the greatest country in the world. We raised and created a generation of entitlement. We believed we knew a better way. We were convinced that our parents were the last generation oppressed by the old way of life. We were the future, Generation X, the chosen generation that would liberate oppression. We would bring the United States into the future. Unfortunately, being the chosen generation made us cocky. We believed our way was the best and only way. We raised our children in an image we thought would lift America up, instead of recognizing the greatness that already existed. We, Generation X, are responsible for the fall that will come to us all. In our pursuit to change the world, we failed to remember the basic principle that made our country great. We as a nation stand together. Together we stand, and together we will fall. This one thing, this one basic ideology is what sets us apart from everyone else, and will be what will inevitably be our demise. If we as a nation cannot learn to set aside our differences for the greater good, we may fall. There may come a time when we find ourselves standing on opposite sides from our very own children. Is this truly what we want? I know I don't. Our children have been brainwashed by a group of individuals that have lost sight of what the United States of America stands for in a pursuit of power. They do not care who is hurt on their way up. They do not care if you are the one standing beside a casket containing your son or daughter. It isn't their child. But isn't it? We once thought of American children as our children. When did pursuit of power become worth more than the lives of American children? We have been brought to an unfortunate time where the choice we are faced with will ultimately break or make the future of our country and our children. The United States as we once knew it is gone. We cannot and will not bring it back. What we can do is rebuild. We can bring the United States of America back to greatness once again. What we do now will determine if we stand united or we fall divided. So as you turn on your television and see the left encouraging our children to put themselves in harm's way, I implore you to stop and ask yourself why. When you log into your social media accounts next and you see the right pledging support for President Trump, again, I implore you to ask the question of why. When you are one of those people who choose to try and ignore what is happening, who don't exercise your right to vote, who think if it will all work itself out without you, I sincerely beg you to reconsider. You can ignore and give up your right to vote, but no one will be able to escape the outcome. If our country falls, you will fall with it. If it rises, you will also rise. This is the single most important election in the history of America. Not a single person will remain untouched from its outcome. Unfortunately, it has come time to pick a side. I embolden all to rise to the occasion and to choose the side of the United States of America.